I hope you got yours, cause I got mine. I'm talking Payoneer, Netspin, Venmo, Stash. Too many ways for you to run my cash.
Check reparation, 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 check.
Yeah, well, if you talking compensation, it's about that time. Yeah, everybody.
All right, so what's going on, y'all? It's Monday and all that. Here, let me look at you. Baby. Let me check you out there, baby. How you feeling there, sir? So we got one of them no-ish Sherlock moments. Like, this article is going to tell you that the biggest racial gap in prison is among violent offenders. Focusing on intervention instead of incarceration could change those numbers. Nah, you know what would change those numbers? Is if you actually locked up the white people that you arrest. See, what happens is they get arrested, but somehow the charges get lessened, somehow they get probation, somehow they get intervention, somehow they get diversion. But black people go straight to jail, do not pass go. Let me take your little $200, all that. But it goes on to say, hold on, let me duplicate this one time for you. I'm going to blow it up so you can get to read on too. You know what I'm talking about? Good morning, everybody. Lord have mercy. Anyway, racial disparities in the state prison rates have dropped significantly during the first 2 decades of the 21st century. That's one of the main findings from the report published by one of us, by the U.S. in the late 2022, among with Georgia State University colleagues William Sabol for the Council on Criminal Justice and nonpartisan think tank. But the headlines decline to tell you only half the story. Narrowing is significant, down some 40% in 20 years to 2020. Now, that's because y'all mass incarceration has worked. Y'all locked up everybody from 85 to early 2000s. Y'all locked everybody up. Now everybody just now starting to get out. You know, they got their little 10s and 15s. Everybody just now starting to get out. And now they're trying to be productive members in society, but y'all done made it hard for the felons. But it goes on to say the black adults were still being imprisoned at 4.9 times the rate of white adults in 2020, compared to 8.2 times at the turn of the century. So y'all still double locking up black people. It's still the complexion for the protection. It's still that. But it goes on to say, of equal concern to the U.S., as black Americans and scholars of criminal justice, is where the largest gaps exist in imprisonment rates once you break down the data, with the steep decline in drug imprisonment gap between black and white Americans from 15 to 1 in 2000 to just 4 to 1 in 2019. That's still much, because it should be the other way around, because who's out here selling all of this meth, all of this fentanyl? Now they got trank. Who's selling all that? It says the biggest racial disparities now exist among people incarcerated for violent felony offenses. Don't try to skip past the fact that it's still 4 to 1. That's significant. These violent offenses cover a range of criminal behavior from rape to robbery to murder. It says both victims and offenders. It has long been accepted that the racial disparities in incarceration rates for drug offenses is a result of the bias in the system. Black people do not use or traffic drugs more than white counterparts. Rather, black communities have borne the brunt of drug imprisonment because of discriminatory enforcement. No, because y'all target black people. Because if that was the case, then y'all would be ushering a whole bunch of meth addicts and a whole bunch of these trank and fentanyl addicts straight to jail. It said, but it doesn't seem to be the case when it comes to violent felonies. There is an evidence that suggests regulatively higher black incarceration rates for violent crimes, especially homicides, are due to an overrepresentation of violent offenders and victims in black communities. Homicide rates for black Americans, 29.3% per 100,000, was about 7.5 times higher than white homicide rates at 3.9 per thousand in 2020. Black Americans was also twice as likely to be reported receiving medical treatment for a physical injury sustained from an assault. Most acts of violence involving a victim and offender are from the same race, according to most recent data, despite accountability for roughly 14% of U.S. population. Black Americans comprise over half of the homicide offenders. Now, see, that's BS, screwed up numbers. You want to know why that is? It's because Professor Black Truth does a Friday crime report every Friday. And for 333 episodes now, he has outlined how white offenders go to jail specifically for murder and all type of other stuff. And somehow they don't get charged for it. I bet y'all didn't know. What's her name? Barbara Bush, I think. One of the Bushes. I think it's Barbara Bush. I'm thinking, I can't even let me think about it. So one of them went to jail for vehicular homicide when they was little and got off on it. And they wasn't charged with vehicular homicide, but they killed somebody. Anyway, that just happened quite so many times. You'd be surprised how many white people you know with all type of dangerous felonies on their record and ain't never spent a lick a day in jail. It says evidence suggests that black Americans commit and suffer the bulk of the serious violence crimes. No, it don't. See, this is a propaganda piece from Yahoo News. This is flat out lies. So, yeah, you know what? That's something I really wanted to talk about. Have y'all noticed that them people, and if you don't know who them people is, it's them people, the ones that you can't speak of. Have you noticed them people who are in control of everything, like news media? They go the hardest with the propaganda against us to dehumanize us. But ain't that the same thing Hitler was doing to y'all? Ain't that so the same thing that Hitler did to y'all want everybody to recognize, and woe is us, we were so discriminated again, but then y'all turn around and do the same thing against us. Now, why is that? Listen, I'm not really religious or anything like that, but it's kind of strange that if a black person called themselves a certain religion, this one group of people that's already demonizing and targeting the black people got the biggest say-so about something. They ready to take your paycheck. They ready to take your job. They ready to take your business deals. They telling everybody don't do nothing with you. Why is that? Why is it? I think it's mighty strange. Because is it perhaps maybe black people is the real them people? And they trying to kill us off so that they can really be the real them people? Oh, and then that means they would have a biblical stake or claim to what says in the Bible, and then that means that they should be on. It's pretty strange. It's pretty strange is what I'm gonna tell you, y'all. But the bottom line to this little article is this is another hit piece against black people for dehumanizing purposes. There's no way in the world that we could commit half the crimes when we only 13% of the population. It just don't make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't. But have you ever heard white on white crime? Have you ever heard Asian on Asian crime? Have you ever heard Mexican on Mexican crime? Have you ever heard that? No. Only one you hear about is black on black crime to make black people seem inherently evil and demonic. But I tell you one thing, you know what's not helping? All the murder, death, kill music that we listen to, right? I'm guilty. I like turn up music when I'm intoxicated, obviously. You know, there's a time and place. But I tell you one thing, I'm not rolling around listening to my Glock, my Draco, my Batch, this thing that I'm taking that I'm getting so effed up on, I'm not saturating my brain with those kind of thoughts throughout the day because I like to be in control of my thoughts. Matter of fact, I like to listen to a lot of instrumentals with no words. I just like the music. Anyway, matter of fact, I sell a lot of instrumentals. I got like 12 albums, J Lava instrumentals. So sometimes you like to hear bomb music, good trap beats or good R&B beats and that kind of thing without the music, without the nastiness and the when you do, try instrumentals, fam. You might like it. But anyway, I'm not going to hold you. I'm just going to mold you, fold you, and scold you about being on code. And you know that I have 4 words for you, my friend. It is love. It is peace. This one and this one. Got the blessings and it's maloha. Because I am out the Doha for Shoha. And I think you already know how. Gotta hit you with a yee. Peace. Oh, look, I'm trying to end it and everything. I need to be putting the commercials on. All right, y'all. Matter of fact, ain't no commercials today.